it's Larkin. So I'm going to give you a scenario and see if you can relate to this because this is probably one of the most common scenarios that you'll find yourself in, and that is neglecting yourself. So let's say you're a parent and you get off of work, and when you come home, you immediately have to rustle up the kids and get them to an extracurricular, whether that's sports, dance, gymnastics, whatever, and you get them there. And while you're there, you are doing other things. So you're trying to multitask by probably sending an email or texting somebody, or you're trying to call family, talk to your parents, talk to your siblings. Maybe your other kids are requiring your attention while you're there, or their schoolwork is requiring your attention. So they might need a form filled out, or they're trying to do their homework while you're there, or they want to play with you and you feel like you just don't have time to do so. Then you're supposed to actually be paying attention to the sport that your kid is playing or the dance lesson, and you're not. And while you're there, let's say that coach or that teacher or whomever is in charge of that sporting event or extracurricular is trying to communicate with you that you need to do stuff. We need this permission slip signed. Or kid needs this, needs money for their jersey. They need uh, extra socks, extra shoes. Things are going on, and you need to keep track of it. So, you're putting it into your phone. You're doing all of this, right? Event's over. You didn't have time to make, a full dinner with a chicken, mashed potatoes, and carrots and peas. So you're running out to fast food. You pick up the fast food. The kids are eating it in the car. You get home. Let's say it's 7:30. Kid needs to do their homework. So now you're there and they're trying to do their homework while you're trying to do other things. Get pajamas on with your other kid. Try to get yourself something to eat, but you're not. Mom, I need help. Mom, I need help. So now you're trying to sit down and do homework, but you're frustrated, right? Now emotions start to come out. You probably are yelling at the kid, or you're expressing negative emotions like annoyance at them. Regardless, trying to get homework done. Then bath. Get in the bath. You need to get a shower. You need to do this. Getting ready for bed. The bedtime routine comes up, right? So you're doing all of this, and maybe by, we wish, right, 8 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock, 9:30, everybody's up in bed. And by this time, you have a sink full of dishes. You have laundry you have to either throw in to do the laundry, or laundry is currently going through the cycle, or you have your dried laundry all across your couch and not folded and it's all wrinkled, and you have half a pot of coffee from this morning still on. The kids need lunch for the next day because they don't like to buy. So you're downstairs making lunches, and they need their picture forms filled out for school the next day. You're filling out their picture forms, putting their homework into their folders for the next day. You still have stuff to do for work. So you're filling out their stuff for work. There was a couple emails you needed to respond to. There was, let's say, a PowerPoint. You have a presentation tomorrow, so you need to brush up on what you're going to be talking about. You're filling out the PowerPoint. You're putting notes in for yourself. You might go over a slide or two. And now it's 11 p.m. And you're like, God, I'm so tired. I need to go to bed. Throw in another load of laundry, leave the stuff in the sink, you leave the stuff on the couch, you go upstairs, you turn on the TV because you're like, I just need some time to myself. Like, I need some me time, which TV isn't me time, but that's what you now have deemed me time. Turn on the TV for 30 minutes, you fall asleep. That is your night. And then you get up the next day and you do it all over again. If that sounds like a day in your life on repeat, like Groundhog Day, you have been a part of burnout, in the stage 3 of burnout. And that's neglecting self-care. Now, we've normalized this in our society. This is what everybody can relate to. and we kind of glorified it as being like the working parent or uh, the parent that can do all. But the reality of it is that you're not doing it all. You're not supposed to be able to do it all, and we're not supposed to be able to multitask. I'm not going to stand or sit here and say that you're supposed to be able to do the 3-course meal. You're supposed to be able to do all the laundry. You're supposed to be able to load your dishes and do all of that. You can't do all of that if you can't meet your own personal needs. So skipping meals for yourself because you didn't eat and all that. You might have taken the French fries that they didn't eat off of their plate and eaten them, or the half-eaten burger, or the one crusty chicken nugget that they had with the no more ranch to dip in, right? That's what you got to eat. You sacrificed sleep so you could have me time of watching 30 minutes of TV, of trying to throw in laundry so that they had clean underwear the next day. So they had a lunch so they weren't eating what was that they didn't like at the cafeteria. Um, there's no you neglected any kind of relationship with anybody else. Like you didn't have an actual quality conversation with anyone from your household. You didn't have a quality conversation with your parents or your siblings, right? It was a rushed conversation because you were trying to fit them in while you were multitasking. So what do you do? How do you fix this, right? How do I bring my self care back into this? How do I start meeting my needs? And where does this actually come from? Because it's glorified from society. The challenge really is stemming from childhood. If it's kind of um, simple in the sense that if you fell when you were a kid, okay, let's say you were at like the playground or even in your house, right, and you were messing around and you fell. If you ever had a parent that said, "You're all right, get up," automatically you were told that your feelings or needs are not okay and to suppress them. And when you do that, you carry that throughout life. So anytime you feel like, you know what, I need to take a time out for myself because I'm not okay, we suppress that. And a bunch of other things through childhood, but that's the main one. And you see it all the time. Like you can go to a playground and I can see every single parent go, "You're all right, get up. You're all right, get up, brush it off. You're good." And when you do that, kids aren't able to actually express how they feel. They don't cry and say, "I really hurt my knee, Dad." "Mom, my elbow got scraped. Like it's burning." So you'll see a kid just not cry and they don't express how they feel. So as adults, we don't express how we feel until usually it bubbles up as a volcano and explodes. That's what actually happens in home life. So we usually bring the workplace home. So when you're at work, usually when we don't do this from stage 1 and stage 2, right? We're overworked now. And now we're at the point where we're neglecting our own needs. We become one detached from work. We start being cynical of others, right? So we start being cynical of other people's work, of why are they getting accolades and I'm not, or I didn't think their presentation was that great. And it's often misinterpreted as having a bad attitude or being lazy. So when you start procrastinating, that's seen as being lazy. Or you could be in a meeting and hey, Larkin used to contribute all the time and now she's not. She's real quiet in meetings. What's going on? It really isn't about being lazy. The reframe is actually your brain at this point is going into a survival mode. So the survival mechanism is kicking in, and that's flight, fight, or fawn. So when we're overwhelmed, our mind tries to protect itself. So it tries to distance itself from further emotional harm. So whether you know it or not, that's actually the mechanics behind it. Kind of like if you're physically cold and you're out in the wilderness and you're physically cold, all of the blood goes to your vital organs, causing your fingers and your toes to get cold or go numb. So that's how the mechanics of your physical body work. And that's how the brain works. So if you're emotionally overwhelmed, you go into flight, fight, or fawn. And whatever one you personally go into is established in childhood. So however you whichever one you picked in childhood to usually go into is the one that you go into in adulthood. When you were overworked for so long, we have on a linear scale, we have a middle ground of our comfortability. Okay. So when you get angry, you have a hot zone. When you get upset, you have a cold zone. This is like basics, right? And then you have a middle zone of like where you're even keel, right? When we are overwhelmed or upset for an established amount of time, our midpoint gets stuck in the hot zone and becomes our new normal. And that's where we're at this point. So our nervous system no longer is regulated. Now our nervous system is stuck in a hot zone. So that's what's going on. Things to look out for. One is if you consider grocery shopping your me time, not me time. If you consider watching TV at night as your only me time, not me time. These are not considered bits of self care. This is considered actually neglecting yourself. Things that you can do to help yourself are one, track your food and water intake for 3 days without judging yourself. And I know that sounds silly, but the first thing usually to go is our food. First thing to go is I took lunch at 3 p.m. today, or I didn't take lunch at all. I didn't drink one thing. And I have been guilty of this. I would drop my daughter off at the bus, and then I would go to pick my daughter up at the bus stop. So from 8:30 in the morning until 3:45, and I noticed that I didn't get out of my seat, and I never went to the bathroom that day. So obviously, like I didn't drink anything or drink enough to actually make my body want to urinate. So those are easy things to track of like, did I eat breakfast? If you normally do. Did I eat lunch? What times did I do that? And did I have enough water today? Set a timer to take care of your body. I know that all Apple iWatches have a timer to get up and move around. If you don't have an Apple iWatch, put a timer on your calendar of when to get up and move. Every 2 hours, set a timer to go off of like, this is my 10 minutes when I either stand at my desk and I move myself around, like I march in place, or I get up and I walk around for 10 minutes, or I take a 15-minute break if you're able to. Another thing is I've talked in previous videos about how important it is to do something just for yourself, of taking PTO and having a day of going and doing something that you like to do. At this stage in the game, you still can understand what you like to do. When you're further along in the burnout, you can't necessarily establish what brings you joy anymore. So it's harder to grasp. If I got time off, what would I do? And you don't know what that is anymore. So at this stage in the game, you can understand what you like to do. Like, go have lunch by yourself out at a restaurant. Might be awkward at first, but just go and put yourself in a different environment. Some questions that you can ask yourself that are reflective are, what is my body asking for that I'm ignoring? You could have tension headaches from sitting all day, crouched down at a computer, getting a hunchback. Like, that is what our generation is going to have. So you might always have tension headaches, and that's from your head pulling on your back. You might have backaches from the way that you sit. You might have other body aches for different reasons. So be cognizant of that. You just don't have them randomly for any reason. And what essential need do I have that I label as extra? Self-care. Extra would be haircut. How long has it been since I had a haircut? And I label that as an extra need, but it's actually a necessity. Like, I need a haircut because my hair is growing and I keep it a certain length, and that's my self-care need. Or it could be clothes. I have not been to a store in 6 years to shop for clothes for myself. I consider that extra, but it's actually a necessity. Every year, I should go out and get one new outfit for myself, two new outfits for myself, whatever that may be. Self care is a part of survival. It's not actually a luxury.